another greeting card using gouache paint, and I have used gouache many times in a watercolor fashion, but today I'm using gouache almost as if it was oil paint. So I never use the water as anything other than a way to clean the brush. I don't use the water on the paper. I don't mix the water with the paint as you might a thinner or a medium, like you could use linseed oil with oil paint, or just water with acrylic, or with gouache even, or with watercolor. But I wanted to paint a painting on a card that looked as much like an oil painting as I could muster. And so this was the scene that I had in my brain. It's not an actual place. It's there are some stone bridges like this in Central Park in New York City. I always liked those stone bridges, and I don't think there's a river. There might be. It's been so long, but there's definitely water under the bridges. I guess maybe I don't know if it's a river or if it's just a connecting body of water from one lake to the other. I don't really know. But I always like the bridges and the way they look, especially in springtime. And so it is springtime. So what should I call this painting? The Bridge in Springtime? The Bridge of Spring? The Bridge of Spring. Oh, I like that title. The Bridge of Spring. I think that's what I'll call it. The spring is a bridge, right? From winter to summer. The Bridge of Spring. All right, that's what I'll call it. All right, let me show you how I did this right now. Okay, so today I want to use primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. I'm also going to add white, and I'm going to add Payne's Gray. So let me show you the kit. The kit is from M. Graham and Company, and it's a 5-color basic gouache set. And the colors that come with it are titanium white, cobalt blue, azo yellow, naphthol red, hope I'm saying that right, and black. Now this comes with it, but I'm not using that. Instead, I'm replacing the black with Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is, to me, almost like a magical color. So let's just begin this. I want to do it without wetting the paper first. I'm going to keep the paints out because I want to kind of approach this painting as if it was an oil painting or an acrylic painting. And the reason I don't use the black is because I prefer Payne's Gray. Does that make sense? All right, so let's get some blue first. And I am gonna go from light to dark. So let me get some light, some white, and some blue. And I'm doing it just like you would do not a watercolor, but an oil painting or an acrylic painting. And I'm just trying to do some of the lighter tones first, which would be the sky. Get a nice light blue sky. Now the thing about gouache is that it does dry quickly. It dries a lot quicker than acrylic, and it dries a lot quicker, a way lot quicker than oil. So you just have to remember that as you're using it. But the good thing about gouache is that it is reactivatable. You can reactivate it. Oh, and the paper I'm painting on is actually a greeting card. I am in the process this year of painting. Whoops, I added some Payne's Gray to that. I didn't mean to do that, but that's okay. I'm going to just not worry about it. Just kind of rub it in, make it part of the sky, call it a happy accident. Add a little blue. Oh, now the sky's getting really dark. Okay. Well, maybe there's a storm brewing. I'll just change the thought here. So anyway, I'm in the process right now of painting cards for the church I go to, which is here in Ocala, and they have a youth program for the kids, and they do things with the kids. So they quite frequently will need money to do those things, as most churches and schools usually ask for money for something. And I'm usually not the guy that has money, but I have cards, I have paintings. And so I donate the paintings, and in this case the cards, to the church for their art auction. They don't have to wait until the art auction, by the way, which is in November. As far as I'm concerned, they could auction these cards off anytime, or just plain sell them from their office if they wanted to. I mostly have given away the cards to individuals. One of the things that Robin and I both have done is painted cards and then sent them to people who we know are under the weather, who are feeling sad. Maybe something happened in their life that has caused them to be unhappy or feeling lonely. Maybe they lost somebody, and there's all kinds of reasons, you know. And so I always try to imagine what it's like on the other end when they open their mailbox and they find a card from somebody that they don't really know. I mean, they've heard about me, but they don't really know me. And so they get a card, and I try to imagine that they just smile, because I always write something in the card. You know, so maybe I'll find a proverb or a quote from a poem, or I'll write something that I make up myself, and yeah, it's just a way to reach out and show somebody that they're important, that they are being thought about. Okay, so there's kind of my idea of a sky. Okay, I did make a mistake by dipping my paintbrush into the Payne's gray, but that's okay. And by the way, that's the end of the card right there. That's this part is the back of the card, so that's going to be folded over, in case you didn't realize that. All right, now I keep wanting to go to the water. Maybe I should go to the water, but I'm going to try to just use just a little bit here. Oops, I almost did it again. Did you see that? All right, now we're going to create this very, 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 very super light. Very super light. Let's just get that almost as white as the card itself. Now, one trick I could have done, which I didn't do, but I could have painted the card first with a back color, something that won't reactivate. I don't know if you've ever used casein, but that's a great option, and I learned that trick from James Gurney. If you have ever watched James Gurney's videos, he's amazing. And I wanted to share that with you. Yeah, James Gurney's awesome. He's been kind of a teacher of mine without him knowing it, because I've watched his videos. Okay, so I'm trying not to use the water, just use the paint to see if we can get okay, now I want to use a little bit of, well, I'm using blue, but I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in there to try to create a green effect. And now I can use Payne's gray. Just a little darker, darken the green. And we can always come back and add white to it later on. Okay. See, this is a cool thing about Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray is kind of like a really super dark blue. So you can add yellow to it and make it like a very dark green, which is kind of what I'm doing now. Because this is the river I want it to be. Reflecting the trees that are not painted in there yet, but they will be. Okay, I'm so tempted to dip this into the water. I'm going to try not to do that. Making it completely out of the straight from the tube paint. Just get a little bit more yellow and kind of brighter right here. Yeah, I kind of want it to be a subdued landscape. See how it comes out. I have an invitation to go to Connecticut. This is something that's on my mind lately too. The invitation is from my cousin, and she and her husband are celebrating the 60th anniversary at the end of May. And I got an email from her inviting me to their anniversary party. Well, these are my relatives, and I haven't seen them much over the past 50 years or so, only a couple of times. And that seems weird, isn't it? I haven't seen them in the past 50 years, only a couple of times. When I was working at the radio station, they stopped by one time, or twice, I think twice. When they were a little bit younger, maybe, see, they're older than me, so maybe when they were at my age, they were still camping, and so they would camp here in Florida and stop by. All right, now what I want to do, all right, I'm going to put the paintbrush in the water to clean it, but not to use the water. So let me use another brush, and I'm going to get a very, very light pink here. I'm going to have to add more white to that palette right there. Let me get some more white. Yeah, I wonder how this is going to look. This is a mystery to me. I really don't know how it will look. So anyway, yeah, I've got it on my mind to take a trip to Connecticut. I'm trying to decide if I want to take a train or a fly. I kind of like the idea of a train. You know? Have you ever taken a train anywhere? I took a train to New York one time, and it was okay. Took a train one time to New York, and I took the auto train. I don't know if you've ever done this, where you put your car on the train, and then you ride in the train like a regular passenger, but your car is somewhere in the back. So your car is with other cars on a train car, and yeah. And then when you get to Lorton, Virginia, you get off the train, and then they take your car off of the train, and then you get back in your own car and you finish your ride wherever it is you're going to. So Robin and I did that twice, really. Once, we went to New Jersey and New York, and the other time coming back from New Jersey and New York. So yeah, we went once in each direction. It was fun, but you know, the plane is so much quicker, and maybe it's a better idea to take the train. I mean the plane. Maybe. What do you guys think? I'll let you know if I even do it. See, I'm not even sure I'm going. I just have to think about it. I got a month or so. Oops. Alright, so we're painting as if it's oil. Of course, with oil I would be using thinner or medium. I'd be using like linseed oil or something. So I guess I could consider the water. Maybe I will cheat. Maybe I will change my mind about how I do this. No, it's coming out all right. It's coming out all right. All right, now let's get some let's start some greens here. Some very washed out green. I almost want this to be almost as light as the sky. These trees back here. These background trees. Again, I'm using the Payne's gray and the yellow to create this kind of a green, but very faded green. So that's why I'm adding the white a lot to kind of fade it out, to make it look hazy and distant. And I can add yellow to that. There we go. Let's get some more green in here. let's get some more darkness here. Again, that's Payne's gray, that's not black. Just make a little hill over here. let's get this. See if we can figure out this. Here we go. There's a little bridge right there. There we go. Now let's put a little handrail or whatever on the bridge, and so people won't fall off the bridge. It kind of reminds me of the bridge in Central Park, some of the one. There we go. A little bit of a hint there for the bridge. Here we go. There's our bridge. Our little bridge. Let's get another brush and lighten up the water underneath the bridge so that it has more contrast. Just a little bit. And then the shadow of the bridge and the reflection of the bridge. Okay. let's get some yellow over here. Okay, let's work over here now. Get some very light colors over here. Where the sunlight is hitting. Okay, add some white to that. Very, very bright. In fact, I can add some white to this too, I think. Just a lot of activity up there. Okay, let's get some pants gray and some yellow and create like some dark greens here. Then I'll add some white to it. Get some light colored greens up here. let's put these brushes in the water to clean them, add a little bit more yellow to the palette, and use a clean brush. Let's see, a relatively small brush. Here's one. Alright, let's go for let's get some of that blue and yellow and make green. Use a lot of yellow and make it very light green. Make it yellow green. Some orange in there, a little red and yellow mixed together. Oops, make it a lot more on the yellow side. Let's get back to the yellows. One mistake I made in the beginning when I accidentally added that Payne's gray to the sky. The sky is way darker than I want it to be, so I'm going to have to lighten that up. So I'm going to do that in just a second, because I want the contrast to be very obvious. I'll get some of these oranges in there later. Right now, let me just kind of rub them out. All right, let me get to the white in the sky that really, I meant it to be white in the beginning. Not white, but very, very light blue, and I didn't do it. So what I think what I'll do is I'll add white, almost like clouds, because I want those trees to be more standoutish. You see what I mean? And therefore the river also will be reflecting that white. You see what I mean? This is what I was talking about. Basically, I'm doing dry or straight out of the tube into the sky and creating almost looks like a cloud, right? So you can still see the blue coming through, but it lightens the sky a lot, which is what I want. Makes the bridge stand out more. The distant trees stand out more. It's kind of like the focal point of the whole picture, I think. And then some down here, see? Okay, we're getting there. Now let's add a foreground tree here. Something in the foreground. Again, I'm trying to avoid using water except to clean the brush. That one looks okay. Alright, now what I want to do is I'm going to make some green. And I'm going to make a real, like a brown, using all three of the primaries. The red, the yellow, and the blue. And make this very stark brown. I want to put a tree right here. It's not dark enough, so I'm going to go ahead and add Payne's Gray to it. Paint right over what I already have. I might need to add more Payne's Gray. Yeah, I absolutely need to. let me add some more Payne's gray. Now this might be a place where you could use black. I probably shouldn't waste the black. I should use it now and then, but I'm not going to today. A little bit bigger. All right, let's get this tree coming all the way up here. I want this branch to extend. We'll have some come back down into the picture. Wrap around. There we go. Okay, let's add some branches back here that you can just barely see. Some of these trees in the background. Okay, let's see, what can I do? I need to add some highlight to that tree. So again, it's a series of small brushes for this painting. And I haven't used a brush out of the water yet. So I don't want to start now. Here's a little tiny brush. Let me use that one. Get some very light pink, maybe some even light orange. And I'll put it on the side of this tree. Give it the sense of a glow. Here we go. A bit of a glow there. I'll save that one for something, I don't know what. Alright, now let's try to make some violet if I can. A little bit of red and blue and white. I want a violet flower in this field. See if I can come up with a violet. Mixing the white and the red and the blue. Should be dark enough. Yeah. To cover the white and light enough to be seen on the dark. See how that works? It's light enough to be seen on the dark and dark enough to be seen on the light. So let's start putting some of that around. We'll have two shades of it. We'll have the darker and the lighter. So the lighter is in the sun, and the darker is in the shade. Get some of this yellow. Maybe some red flowers over by the bridge. And some purple flowers over here. Now let's get some dark, a little bit here. sharpen the edges of that bridge a little bit. Maybe some purple flowers on these leaves here. Maybe this is a cherry tree. I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. All right, I think we're done. Now all I have to do is fold it, and that'll make it into a card. And it'll be a nice card for somebody who likes scenery. There. Well, I know that took a little bit of time. I think without using, let me get the light on it. I think without using the water, it did give it a little bit of a painterly feel. I'm a little bit troubled by part of it here. Let me fix something here. Use this brush. I feel like this should be more I should have a dark area right there. Shadow there. Let's go back to the white. Get some white right there. Okay, now I think I'm done. I don't know, that was just bothering me. Okay, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.